we need to do is they are obviously asking us here to retrieve the file, okay? Which means voila, open up, go and get it, all right? So let's quickly go and see where that is going to be. So always you are going to either look for the file in your exam folder or on the NATA drive. So I will take you step by step through this, but what you will do is you will go to the File Explorer at the bottom of your taskbar. You will go to the NATA drive. If you can't see the NATA drive, you must click on this PC. You will obviously not have all of these drives, but I have access to them because I'm a lecturer, so you will probably only have the NATED and maybe your own then. Okay? There's also an exam. So you will always go to the NATA drive, and then you will go to my name because I'm your lecturer currently, and then you will go to CPN4. But you won't double click because you want to copy that whole folder. So if you've double clicked this, just go one step back, left click once so that it's highlighted in blue, and then right click and say copy. Then you're going to go to your drive. Now, if you can't see your drive with your name on here, go to this PC again. Then it will appear here. You're going to right click and you're going to click paste. Okay. Now, inside of the CPN4, you will find a folder saying 16 May 2024 because that is the question paper that we are doing. Okay. So you're going to double click and you are going to open up the 2019 RWC because that is what they ask you to retrieve. Okay, so let's do that. Okay, so I'm opening it up. And then please look carefully. You're going to get an error message for the first time when you open this up. You have to click Enable Editing. So click that. And then you're inside of this. You will see that the question paper is on your right-hand side. So we are going to go back and forth from this. We've already done the retrieve. So on your side, what I want you to do is just to take a pen. It can be a black pen, a blue pen. And as you've done something, please tick it off so that you know you have done that. I want to see your question paper being all scribbled around. You're not going to tick it off now because I've done it. You haven't. Okay, let's go to number 2. Save the document as question 6. Okay, where are we going to do that? We're going to go to the File tab in the ribbon and we're going to say Save As. Darlings, please look at the difference. Okay, if you can't see the screen on Vion, there's a big screen behind me. Please have a look there. Don't go to save. Look at what's going to happen if I press save. It's saved, but I don't know where. I don't know what. You cannot just press save. You must say save as. So I'm going to show you again. File, save as. You're going to browse. Normally, it will either be in or the exam folder if you're writing an exam or a test or an assessment. But mostly when we practice, it will be on your drive with your name. Okay? So you are going to type in capital letters. So you switch on your caps lock on your keyboard. You type in question 6. Okay, I'm just going to put on your group name here so I know where we're at. And you are going to say save. Okay, there it is. It's done. Now, can you see that before we had not saved this, there was RWC 2019 written here. Now, after we have saved it, you can see the new name there. So that's how you know you've actually properly saved it. Okay? Now, let's go to the next one. 6.3 is asking you, as a header and in capital letters, you must put in those stuff. Okay? Now, first of all, you must understand what a header is and what a footer is. Okay? A header, like I maybe have explained to you before, is at the top of your head. So it's also at the top of your page. A footer will be the space at the end of your page. Okay, that's the first thing you need to know. The second thing you need to know is an examination number refers to your ID number. So whenever in a test or whatever they ask you at the college for an examination number, it becomes your ID. If you don't know it off by heart, I'm judging you, but that's okay. Then you can go and have your card with you. You anyway going to have your card with you most of the time when you write. Okay, so please make a note of that. Now, how do we put in our header? There is a way. I'm quickly going to show it and then I want you to forget it because that's not a nice way. Insert, header and footer. But then they give you these templates that you now have to go and delete and put stuff in. So I don't like that way. I want you to do the next way, in the following way, is to go to the space. Do you see there's a space here? Do you see a space? Do you see there's also a space here at the bottom? Okay. Take your mouse, once we have done now the Vion, and double click inside that space. Can you see it says it's the header? Okay. Read the question. It says as a header and in capital letters, key in. Now, examination number can't be in capital letters because it's not letters, it's numbers. Numbers, it's numbers. You can't capitalize a number. You're going to put in your ID, whatever that is. I'm just putting 1, 2, 3, 4 in. Okay. If you don't know your ID today, you can also do that for practice. Okay. Now, it says that examination number must be where? Where must the position be? Left aligned. Okay. Which it is. Okay. What must be on the other side of that page, right aligned? The question 6 in capital letters. Ne? Okay. Now, normally, those of you who know a little bit of Word, normally we will go to home and we will transfer our alignments left, right, and center. But can you see what happens if I change the alignment there? It takes my whole ID number back to the right-hand side, which I don't want. So listen very carefully. For the header and the header only, you're going to use another method. Okay? Everything else in your document, you're going to use these alignments. But for the header, we are going to use what we call the tab key. Okay, where is the tab key? Can you find the tab key for me? Do you see the escape on your screen? Let me quickly show you a picture of a keyboard. Okay, can you see the tab key here? Let me make it a little bit bigger. That is the tab key. Can you see that? Can you see it on your own screen as well? Okay. Now that is how we go from left to right. Now please be careful. You cannot start your tab here because it's almost like something that pushes your thing from one side to the other. So if you put it in front of your text, it's going to do that. Hello? That's most not right. So please go to the end of your word, which is, it should actually be there because you've just typed the numbers. And then press it once. Then it's in the center. Is that right? No, because it needs to go to the right side. It says right aligned. I want you to put this thing on, please. It's called the paragraph marker and it's found under home so that you can see you've used the correct amount of tabs. Darlings, you can never, and I say never, use your space bar. Okay? This is not okay. This is not okay to create spaces. Not like that. Not if you need to change alignments. Are you with me? Okay. Please make sure your capital letters are switched on by using the caps lock and put in question space 6. Please, darlings, they must be in capital letters and there must be a space. Don't do all of this effort and then lose a mark because you didn't do one little small thing not right. Okay. How do I get out of this header? I can either double click again somewhere here, or I can press escape. Okay. Just quickly a reminder where escape is. There is escape. Okay. Are you with me? Okay. Very easy. Press it once, pops your uncle. Okay. Darlings, please be mindful when you work in the header that you don't keep on working in the header. Okay, especially when it's your first time doing this. Some students don't focus and then they do their whole document in there. Can you see the rest of my document is gray? And if I escape it, then that becomes a little bit less black. It's almost a bit like a dark gray, and the rest of my document is a normal color. Please make sure that you are in the right place when you start your editing. Okay, we're done with 6.3. Now, 6.4 is the place where I said you have to go back and forth between the two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this part for us also so that we can also see what kind of instructions are they giving to us. So you constantly need to make a almost like a comparison between the two. That's why I tell my students, please make sure that you put your ticks when you are done with something. Okay, that's really important. Okay, let's take a look. So I've switched this around now so that you can see. So I have stopped for a moment. I've parked my car here by 6.4. I'm not done with the rest, but I'm just going to carry on for a little bit on the other side so that you can get a sense of what you need to do. Okay. So on this side, you will see there's a dotted line. That dotted line is not this. You shouldn't be able to do it like this. That's not correct. Are you with me? That dotted line is just there for you to see what are they referring to. In other words, they are telling you that this heading is the heading that they want to be changed. Okay? Now look very closely. Let's say I click there and I do the changes. I say it must be bold. I do everything as they. Can you see it's done there? Do you see any changes? No, why not? Because I didn't select it. Okay, how do I select it? I click and hold it in my mouse, my left button on my mouse, and now I can read. Okay, if you can't read my screen there, it says change the heading to 12 points, uppercase, bold, and center. There's about 4 things you have to do. So tick everything that you do and make sure you do it properly, because in 4 they ask you all of those stuff for 1 mark. So you must either do it very well or leave it out. And the latter is not really an option. So go to your points, tick it off. 20 points is done. Tick. Uppercase. Am I going to rewrite that whole thing? No. What am I going to do? I'm going to go to my change style and make it uppercase. Yes? Do you still remember that? So under the home tab, you're going to go to uppercase and choose that. Then the next thing is to bold it and to center it. Okay, bold is easy. You just click bold there. Now remember what I said. Alignment in the header, we use the tab key. For alignment in the rest of your document, you press alignment like such. Are you with me? Okay, let's practice it again in the second one. The second one now has an arrow showing what you do. They say you must right align and change and don. Okay, so let's first things first, select it. Okay, then we change it to right align, and then we make it 10 points. And then they are asking us to apply an outer effect. Okay. Now, the moment you read things like shadow, text effect, all of that, then you know you will be finding it under this little A under home. Okay? There is another A that students sometimes confuse, and that is found under the insert tab when we work with word art. But that's something different. Okay? So if they're talking about shadowing or outlines, I will show you in a moment, then you know it's this little A here. Okay, so when you click on that arrow, can you see there's shadow, reflection, glow? So any of those words, if you see any of those words, you must know, you must go to the home ribbon and click on text effects. Okay, let's read. It said it must be shadow. So we're going to click on the shadow. You actually don't have to click. You can just hold your mouse. It must be outer. Can you see there's also an inner and a perspective? You are going to look for the outer, and then the last thing that they specify is offset top. Now, I'll be honest with you. I don't know all of this stuff by heart. I have to hover on my mouse to see that this is an offset top. Okay? So you have to now go and just see which one is the same words as the one given, and then you choose it. Okay? You have to zoom in to really see what it did, but it made like a little shadow at the top. Okay? So that is what you did there. Okay. Now let's quickly go back. So we've done number 1 and number 2 there. Let's quickly go back to 6.5. Okay, there's a reason I'm doing that. So 6.5 is asking you to, all the margins of the document must be 2.54 centimeters. Okay, all the margins. So because you are clicking a function that includes all of the document, you don't have to use Control A, zonke, all of them. But you need to know where to go. So you're going to go to layout. You're going to choose margins. Now, in this examination paper, they were nice to the students because they chose one already set up. Can you see on your question paper, it says all the margins must be 2.54. Can you see that? Okay. Now, before we change that, I just want you to know what a margin is. So let's quickly look at that. I'm going to use, let's use, for the sake of Valentine's month, we're using a heart. Ne? Okay. Not the blue heart, Sisa. We want a red heart. So for the sake of Valentine's Day, let's change this heart into a red heart. Okay, there we go. So can you see that the space that you have here, can you see this, is a little bit gray there. Can you see that? Okay, that is the top margin, darlings. Then can you see here at the bottom, there's another gray area here. That is the bottom margin. Okay, now look at the ruler here at the top. Can you see there's a little gray area here? So if I take my little heart and I make it a bit smaller, this is also a margin to the left. What will this be? The margin to the... Okay, so are you all clear on what margins represents? What it is? Okay, if I wake you up this morning at 3 o'clock, you're going to tell me where to go, ne? Where do I go? Layout, margins. Now, let's say the examiner didn't give one of these set outs to already be done, defaulted. Okay, what must you do? You must go to margins, you must press custom margins, and then you must read what each of them are. Must you change the bottom to a specific one, etc., etc.? Are you with me? But for this case, you were lucky. You could have chosen the normal and Bob's your uncle. Can you see the space where the heart was previously is now bigger? And can you see the gray area is also bigger? Okay, I hope you can see that. All right, so we've done 6.4. You can tick it off. 6.5, sorry. Okay, just a quick note. Do you see there's a forward slash with a little one there that says inches? Can you see that? Okay, can you also see here at the bottom of my screen, it says English South Africa. Okay, that means our computers are calibrated. Do we use inches in South Africa? Not really, maybe around your waist or your bra size or whatever, but we use centimeters most, ne? So you never, ever, ever listen very carefully, Mamela. Mamela, you don't ever type centimeters in a word. You don't have to. And I don't know, for the sake of love and war, why they still keep the inches there, because we are in South Africa. So, but anyway, so you ignore that. You know, when you break up with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, ne, and you go to the club or whatever you do these days for fun, and you see him or her with their new partner, ne, and you looking fabulous as yesterday, like there's no tomorrow. You ignore your ex in the club, ne? Like he was never yours to start off with. So that's the same with the inches. You ignore them like the ex in the club, ne? Okay, fantastic. Okay, let's go to 6.6. They are asking you to change the font of the entire document to Bradley Hand ITC. Okay, now pause there. Leave the brackets out for now. The first thing I want you to focus on is the fact that they're referring to the entire zonke, ne? The entire document, the whole document. And then the Bradley Hand is the type of font that they're referring to. Okay, now let's quickly go up to our document so that you can see. I'll delete this. How do I get my whole document to be selected so that I can change everything? Okay, do you remember the long and passionate kiss? You take Control and A together. A for apple, the first letter in the alphabet, ne? You press them together. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you take this Control and this A and you push them together. Okay, like so. Can you see everything is selected now? Okay. Then I go to the Home tab in the ribbon because that is where I'll find my font. Now, obviously, because I've done this for a million times now, mine is under recently use. Yours may be also, but otherwise you must find it here by the bees. Okay, there it is. I don't think they refer to any font size at that stage. No, they're not. But if they do, remember next to it is the size. Okay, I'm going to leave it as is. Now, read the part that's given to you in brackets. Please don't fall asleep. You need to stick with me now. Read the part that is in brackets. What's said in brackets there? Including all the headers, footers, etc. Okay, are you with me? Darlings, they're not always going to tell that part which is in the bracket. You need to be able to know that. And I'm telling you this once, and it's probably the only time when I'm going to tell it, except if you watch myself on replay on YouTube. So what are you going to do? You're going to double click. Can you see it was not included in the whole document? So you need to go into the header again, press Control I, which is again for selecting all, only selecting the header, go to Bradley Hand, and I actually think they ask you, no, they don't ask you to change the size. Darlings, if they don't say include header and footer, sir, you must know that the entire documents refer to the header as well. Do you understand what I'm saying? They're not always going to give you that hint in brackets. You must know that. And I'm telling you that now. Okay. How do I get out of my header? There's two ways. Give me one. Press escape or double click. Okay. Now, let's quickly go to 6.7. They ask you to insert page numbers bottom right of the page. Okay. And you must use the page number style accent bar 4. Okay. Can you see I've not even went back to the rest of my editing on the text. I've just stayed with the instructions now. So you need to tick these things off. Darlings, read that again with me. It says at the bottom right. Now, a page number is always either in the header or in the footer. Okay? You cannot put it anywhere else. So you need to know when they refer to the word button, where is that going to be? In the footer. Remember, feet is at the bottom of your body. Foot, ne? Okay. Darlings, now look here. If I go to insert footer, okay, my header is still fine. So that is okay. But if I had to do that with my header, now I had to go and say insert header, then you see it's going to go gone. Then you have to redo it again. That's why I'm trying to explain to you to use my double click method, please. So don't do the insert if you don't have to. Okay. So go double click and it says page number. So the moment you're in header, okay, I want you to look at this. Look at this light bulb here. And please, if your light bulb is now switched off in your brain, you better come to the party. Are you awake, sir? Okay, fantastic. Is everybody still with me? Who has jumped off the plane? No one. Okay, just keep on hanging. I'll be about 10 minutes still. Okay, then you can practice. Look at that light bulb there. Keep your eye there. And look at what's going to happen. The moment I double click in the footer, either or in the header, can you see there's a little toolbox that came up? Did you see that? Okay. Now can you see there's page numbers? Hello? Can you read, Siabona? Click on that. Where in the thing must it be put in? Read on your question paper. The bottom, can you read there bottom? Must it be left or right? Okay, what is the style? Accent bar. Can you see there's an accent bar 2 and 3? I think they are asking for 4. Can you see it says accent bar and it's on the right hand? You click it, Bob's your uncle. Okay, easy peasy pie. How do I get out of the footer? Press escape. Fantastic. Okay. You're doing so well, students. Well done. Just keep hanging on there. I want to finish this with you quickly. 6.8 is asking you to insert the line spaces. Read that last part with me. As indicated in the document. What in the life of love in war? In what document, ma'am? Where do you think you're going to see those spaces, students? You're going to see it here. Do you agree with me? Okay. Now, in your question paper, you will also see there is another page on page 13. Okay. Now, let me quickly show you what is line spacing. Okay. Now, for that, you unfortunately need to turn around your page. Okay. You need to take your page one to the back so that you can see what I'm talking about, because there's no line spacing indications on the other side of that question paper. Okay. So let me just quickly give this thing some time. While we're at it, I'm going to ask you to see if you can find the following thing on the next page. It looks something like this. Okay. It looks something like this. It's just a little bit smaller than this. It's got two lines, horizontal, And then it's got another line that goes, one line horizontal and two vertical lines. Can you see that somewhere? Hello? Okay. Now, what I want you to do is, I want you to very, very quietly, not quietly, that's not the word I'm looking for. You need to listen very carefully. Okay? Now, there's different ways in which this is explained. Okay, let's see if I can go down. I'm talking about these symbols here. Okay, so let's just quickly get everybody on board. I'm talking about this and this, these two things. Are you with me? Okay, so these are the two things that I'm talking about. Now, this is one of those symbols, we call them manuscript signs, and there's more that I will teach you as the time goes by. But for today, I'm only going to teach you this one. Okay, now I've redrawn it here. And there's a reason why I've put it over here by the two paragraph markers. By the way, how do I switch this on again? I go to home and I switch it on. Now, when you switch yours on and you are busy with this part of the question paper, this must have one space. Okay, how do I know that? Some lecturers explain it like this. They say for each horizontal line, how many horizontal lines? A horizontal line is like this, like your ruler. How many horizontal lines is on that symbol? 2. So some of them say there must be 1 and 2 enter signs. Or others, and the others is myself, says, can you see that there's actually one line that represents one line? Can you see that? For me, that's the easiest. And the reason why I say that is when you go to that part where you have to now put in 2 breaks here, you will have to count it like this. So there will be like a top qualifying. This is what is at the back of your question paper on page 13. Okay, teams. Now look here. If you say 2 enters, this is number 1 and this is number 2, which doesn't make sense to me. What makes more sense to me is there's one line open and that is where it is. Let's say there was another line below that one. How many open lines do you think it should have had? 2. Or you can count then 1, 2, 3, and then your text. Okay, so either of those methods, as long as you can interpret how many must there be. Are you with me? So you can either say for each space, not line, for each space there must be an enter sign. And can you see why this is important now? Or for each line, there must also be one, and then you must count that third one at the top of the previous line. Are you all with me? Hello? Are you all with me? Okay, let me do it again. Do you see this symbol over here? Okay. It's on your page 13, yes? Yours only have 2. How many lines do you count? Let's take that one out. How many lines do you count? Lines like this, horizontal lines. 2. Okay. So if there is, they say in between these 2, there must be 2 lines. It means 2 enter signs. Okay. So each of those lines represents a enter, but it's not like this. This is wrong. Can you see that? Because the first enter is already pressed here. So this is representing your first line and this is your second line. I don't like that way. I like to say, count the spaces. How many spaces do you see? If you had a rule paper, you know those marginalized paper that you normally write on, how many lines is there? No, not lines. I mean open spaces to write on. There's one. Can you see that? Can you see there is also one in between those? Okay. Are you with me? Okay, we'll practice this. Okay, let's quickly go to, so we've inserted 6.7 and we looked at 6.8. There's obviously more. We'll do that. Okay, darlings. Now, I know this is a lot, but let's try to finish. We're almost there. Find and replace the word Japan with capital letters Japan. Okay. So what is 6.9 really asking you? It's asking you to run through this whole document here and look for the word Japan, okay? And then take that word and replace it with the same word, which is Japan. But that word must be in uppercase, bold, italics, and 12 point. Are you with me? Okay. But I say except in the table. But we've not inserted the table yet, so we're fine. Okay. The first step for find and replace is to make sure your mouse is at the top of your document. Okay. Sometimes the computer is nice and then they don't do it or it don't do it. But sometimes you can get a computer that thinks that he must start where the mouse is. So I just find it's easier to start where it must start. So take a note for yourself. Make a note. Your first step for find and replace is put your cursor of your mouse at the beginning of your document. Okay. That's step 1. Step 2 is to go to the insert button. Okay. Now yours is going to look a little bit better, a little bit different. Okay. Sorry, it's not insert. I apologize. It's under home. Okay. Previously, in the previous word, many moons ago, you actually found it under insert, but it's now under home. So go to home and then you will see find and replace. Can you see those two? Okay. Please take note. We are not finding the word. We are replacing the word. Yes, we are finding it too, but we're not going to just find it. We're going to edit and replace it. So I must click the second one. Are you with me? I click it. Okay. Now, darlings, please listen very carefully. Okay. It's a lot of marks, find and replace. So if you can get it right, it's a nice thing to get right. Okay. And it's not difficult. Read there, what must I find? The word Japan. Okay. Now look closely. You cannot make a typo mistake. You cannot make a spelling mistake. You cannot make something that is uppercase, lowercase, and vice versa because the computer is a machine. It looks for characters. Are you with me? So if you are going to write Japan like this, it ain't going to get anything. It's going to say 0. Okay? We can say replies. Okay, it actually picks it up. I'm surprised. But for me, the safest option is anything and everything in the J, capitalized. Okay, now very carefully look at what I'm doing. I go to the second row. Make sure you click there. Okay, what must it be replaced with? With the word Japan. Okay, now there's 2 options. You can leave it like that. You can just say Japan, and then we're going to instruct it to make it uppercase in a little bit later on in the same options. Okay, now look here. Look at the screen and look at how it's going to change now. I click on more. Can you see it gives me all of these things? In N4, you have to be able to do the format. Okay, so let me do it again. You open this up. You say Japan, Japan, more, format. And then remember, we're working with the font because the font is uppercase, bold, italics. Those are all font things. Can you see there at the back, there's a font? And can you see all of those things, the bold, the italics, they fall under the font settings. So if you forget, just look at your screen there at the back. So you choose font. Okay. Now, there's lots of stuff you can do. You can do bold and italic together. They sometimes like to ask that. But if you want to yeah, well, they actually do ask that now, because if you read, they say bold and italics. You can't choose bold and italics separately. Can you see that? So you must choose the one that it gives together. Okay. Then 12 points. So you're going to click 12. And then the rest that I ask you is it must be in uppercase. Now look at this little screen here. Okay. Now this is what you need to remember. In find and replace, small caps becomes here. If you don't do capital letters, yes, then it's small caps. If it's capital letters, they talk about all caps. It's the same thing. So look here when I press it. Can you see Japan becomes Japan? So although I didn't put it in there at the back, it's fine. Okay, now look here. Because I did it like this on purpose, because I promise you it's going to happen to you. Look now what you're telling the computer. Do you see here? Do you see that part there? This is what you're telling the computer. You're telling the computer, find Japan in the font 12, bold and italics, not small caps, all caps. Now look here, I'm going to say replace all. All done, we've replaced 0. Obviously, because there's no Japan in your document that's bold, italics, capitalized. Can you see that? So, darlings, it is going to happen to you. I promise you that. Then what you have to do is make sure you click there and say no formatting. That's the only way you're going to get it right again. Say no formatting. Are you with me? Then go to the second one and make sure you clicked on that second row. And let's revise it again. You go to format, font. They say 12, bold and italics, all caps, Bob's your uncle, say okay. And now can you see where it is? It's on the second one. Darlings, I promise you, you're going to put up your hand. If I come to you, I'm not even going to smile. I'm going to say, check it out. It's at the wrong place. And now you can do one of two things. You can say replace. And can you see how it replaces it there? And you can go and replace each one at its own. That is if they ask you to only do certain parts of your document, then you can replace one by one by one. Okay? Or you can go and just from the bottom say replace all, and then it will give you. If it gives you 0, you've done something wrong. Okay? And say yes, and you can say okay, and then you can close that, and Bob's your uncle. Can you see the Japans at the back that's been changed? We haven't inserted the table yet, and so that's why we don't have to worry. But if the table was already inserted, maybe you've worked in another way, then you need to not insert that Japan's as well. Okay, now we're almost done. So let's quickly do 6.10 and 6.11. And then I'm just going to teach you how to insert columns. So please just bear with me. There's 4 things we're going to do. We're going to do line numbering. We're going to insert the image. And we are going to do columns. It's actually 3 things. Okay. Are you all still good? Okay, deep breaths. Let's start. 6.10 is asking you the following. It's saying, apply line numbering as indicated in the text. Where do I know to put in my line numbering? I need to go to my text, which looks like this. And you will see here, it has a little block that says, apply line numbering to this paragraph. Only to this paragraph. Okay, darlings, now listen very carefully. somehow you need to go and tell your computer that that paragraph starts somewhere. Let's make a line. Somewhere here. Why does my line not want to work? Let's do a draw. It starts here and it ends here. Okay. Now those two orange lines that I've put in there, we also going to do, but not with color. We're going to do it digitally. So we're going to put in a little digital line. Now that little digital line that I'm referring to is called a break. Now there's only 3 breaks that we are going to talk about in N4, actually straight throughout to N5. I'm just going to highlight that so that you can see what paragraphs they are talking about, okay? The one is a column break, which we shortly will be doing. The second one is a page break, and then you get a section break continuous. Okay, this is what we're going to do. So you just want the computer to know that there must be a line here, okay? If you sleepy, sleepy, wakey, wakey, where do we find the breaks? Layout, breaks. We're not doing a page break. We're not doing a column break, okay? We're doing a section break because we want it to stay at the same place. It shouldn't go anywhere else. It should stay there, okay? And then at the end, it must also have a break. Otherwise, it's going to continue with the numbering. Okay? Just take out those spaces if they put it in because you're going to lose marks if that's in. Can you see there's 2 digital lines above and below? Okay. Now, the next thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that your mouse is somewhere there in between those 2 section breaks. Otherwise, when it's not, this is going to happen. Look here. You're going to say continuous. Can you see it's going to number your lines at the top? That's not what you want. So make sure you click somewhere in the paragraph and click line number and say line number options. And then you can click line numbers and you can say add line numbers. And sometimes they ask you to start at 7. Then you do it here and you say, okay, and you say, okay, and Bob's your uncle. Okay. Let's say you have by accident, okay, put it in here. You've put in line numbers here. How are you going to get it out? And let's say you've gone too far to use undo. The only way to rectify that is to go to line numbers, to say line number options, to say line numbers, and to say don't add it. Okay, okay. And then it goes away. Okay, remember this was the one that I did. Okay, darling, so for line numbers, go see in what paragraph you need to work in. Put in your digital lines, which is called section breaks. It's found under layout, breaks. And then after that, you can put your mouse right in between those lines, go to line numbers, line number options, etc. And you can set it where it wants to be. Remember to tick that. Okay, let's go to the next one. We're almost there. Insert the image saved as logo from the computer practice N4 and apply the changes as indicated. Okay. Now, to know where that needs to go, we quickly need to refer to that. They say that this must be inserted at the back. Remember, we still also need to do this, but I'm going to maybe leave that for the next period. So let's quickly just do the logo, and then I want to do the columns, and then I'm done. Okay. So the logo is wrap picture in front of the checks. Okay, we need to do a little bit of editing for this logo. Okay, so let's start at the beginning. The logo is going to be somewhere, let's say, okay, I'm just going to take this off quickly. Okay, so the logo needs to be at the end of the document. There's obviously going to be other things as well. The table also need to be there. Okay, how do I insert an image? I go to insert in my ribbon. Picture is the image. Okay. And then you're going to go to that native, not the native drive, then the drive that you actually saved for you now, whether it's under exam. So yours is going to be here. And do you see there's a logo? You're going to double click and it's going to go in here. Okay. Now read on the question paper on page 13. It says you must wrap the picture. Where do I wrap a picture? Do you see there's a little rainbow there? You click on the rainbow and then disappear. Then you go and see which one is in front of text. This one is in front of text. Can you see if I hold it there, it says in front of text? Yes. Change only the height of the image to 4 centimeters. Okay. Now, do you remember just a little bit earlier, I said, watch this space here. Watch the space by the light bulb, and then something appeared. Okay, do you remember that still? The same is going to be with the image. Look at what's going to happen when I click the image. Do you see it gets its own little format tools there? You must click on it so it opens up everything. Darlings, please listen very carefully. If your friend is not awake and I'm thinking I5, can somebody just, yes, please focus. You're going to go to the size button there. Can you see I'm going inside there? Can you see that? Okay. When I click that, please make a note for yourself that that thing must always be switched off. Okay? Except if they ask you only the height. Okay? So they're referring to this. Remember what I said about centimeters. You can delete everything and just put in a 4 and you ignore the 1.57 inches like you ignore your X in the club. Okay? And then you can press OK. So that is what I wanted because it was only the height. All right? But if they ask you for the height and the width, you must take the log aspect ratio off. Because if you remember now, quickly look at how it did look. The width was 15.92. I only changed the height. Okay? Now can you see the 6 centimeter automatically go in, we call it ratio. Can you see that? But if you have a number or a dimension for the height and the width, please, darlings, then you must take this thing off and then you can maybe say 4 to 5. Okay, and then it will keep that. Are you with me? Okay, so let's quickly look again because I only ask the height and not both. I can change it to 4 and I can say, okay, and it will be changed in ratio. Remember, it must be in front of text, which we've done. Look, this is what's going to happen if it's in front of text. And then they ask you the position must be left and below the table. Okay, now we don't have a table yet, but you can at least see a line left. That is how you do it. So if your thing is here, your image is there and you say a line left, can you see your computer will automatically drag it over? And then the last thing I want to show you for the picture is to apply a 3-point double line border around the image. Anything and everything you need to change on an image is going to be under the tool. So can you see there's a border? Okay. The white, the dashes. Okay. So we're going to go to more lines. And then this is going to appear. Okay. It's a little bit different. Then we need to say we want a double line. And I want it to 3 points. So we need to add that to 3. Okay. And Bob your uncle. Okay. I don't say what color, but it's not going to matter because everything is going to print out in black. But if you want to change the color, you can go and say picture border and just change it to black. Okay. I think I'm going to pause here, and then on the next video, I'll do columns with you and tables.